That term just keeps on creeping up. Over and over again, we hear it. New World Order. What is that really all about? As I was thinking about this today, I was reminded of a statement that Henry Kissinger made just after the election of Barack Obama. Actually, I think before he was sworn into office. And Kissinger said that seeing the level of acceptance that Obama was experiencing around the world, he really might have a chance at establishing a new world order. So, Henry Kissinger, he's no babe in the woods. I mean, he's been there. He's done that. He's served as U.S. Secretary of State. He's been Mr. Peaceman for the world, shuttling all over the Middle East, attempting to bring about a peace agreement between Palestinians and Israelis. So, here's a man that's using this term, New World Order. He's not using it lightly. As a matter of fact, he actually wrote an article on January the 12th of 2009. Of course, Barack Obama was inaugurated, January 20th of 2009. He wrote this article for the New York Times, The Chance for a New World Order. So what is Kissinger thinking about? Now, this is not a term that's recently come into usage. It's been used for a long time, actually. If you'll check on the back of your dollar bill, you'll actually see the term there. Now, what's really spooky about this is they chose to write it in Latin. If you'll look below the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill, you see the ribbon along the bottom of the pyramid, and written in Latin is Novus Ordo Seclorum. I took a little Latin when I was in school, and so I happen to know what that means. Novus is the Latin word for new, ordo is order, and of course seclorum is secular or world. So New World Order or New Secular Order, but actually the best translation is New World Order. And when I saw that the first time, I thought, who put that there? On the back of the American dollar bill. Who put it there? Why did they put it there? And when did they put it there? So I did a little investigation. I found out that somewhere between 1932 and 1935, it was placed there by none other than Franklin D. Roosevelt, our President of the United States of America. Well, then, as I dug a little bit deeper, I found out that it was also Franklin D. Roosevelt that was the driving force behind the formation of the United Nations, which in fact was designed to be a new world order. It was actually designed to be a one world government from the beginning. Now, there's proof in abundance, and I don't have time to go into all of it today. Nevertheless, when Mr. Henry Kissinger said that Barack Obama had the chance to usher in the new world order, was he thinking about a one world government? Now, in order to have a world government, you've got to be willing to subjugate the national governments of the world to this one world government. Is that what Henry Kissinger really believes? And if so, is that a good belief or bad? Now, here's where all this thinking comes from. The theory states that there are three root causes for war upon the earth: economic conflicts, religious conflicts, and political conflicts. In other words, a conflict among nations. Nations have a conflict, and they don't have a way of settling it when everything breaks down, so they go to war. So the theory is that nationhood, as we have known it, is a root cause for war on earth. The theory says that the time has come for nations to cease to exist, and we need to merge the human family into a system of global governance. You say, what does global governance mean? Well, look up governance in the dictionary. It'll have a one-word definition, probably. Mine does. And it simply says government. And the word global, of course, means world. So global governance is a euphemism for world government. So when people talk about global governance, they're talking about world government. Now, they don't want you to know that because they know that most of us as Americans do not want a world government. We want America to remain independent. We don't want our lifestyle to be determined by the Chinese or the Russians and their belief systems. We have a Judeo-Christian value system that we cherish very highly. It is the root of our freedoms here. We believe in freedom of speech, freedom of religion. We don't believe you've got to have a license from the state to start a church or a religion. We believe that we're totally free in our religious practices. We also believe in freedom of speech. We don't believe that the government should be able to come and arrest you because you said the wrong thing. Well, at least we used to believe that. They're really trying to change that right now through the hate crime laws. You know what a hate crime law is? It's nothing but an attempt to control belief. It's a belief crime law. Because what they say is, if you commit a crime and it was motivated by certain beliefs or prejudices, you should have a bigger prison term than if you just committed the crime because you lost your temper. Now, what kind of sense does that make to you? I mean, if you kill me, I'm dead. So whether you said, I love you before you pull the trigger, or you said, I hate you before you pull the trigger, I'm still dead. And we've already got laws for all that. We don't need any hate crime laws, ladies and gentlemen. We have crime laws that have to do with rape, murder, assault, every other crime you can think of. Why do we need hate crime laws? Well, because we're trying to teach people what they should love and what they should hate and what they should think and what they should say. Do you realize how quick you can lose your job for saying the wrong thing these days? I mean, you just make one wrong remark and you're right out the door. I mean, I'm going to say it, okay? I'm going to just go ahead and say it. You can make what is translated as being a homophobic remark. And if you're working for a lot of public entities today, you're right out the door. Matter of fact, there was a school teacher not too long ago that actually put a Twitter out there against same-sex marriage. That school teacher the previous year had won Teacher of the Year award, but the school board suspended him because on his own time he expressed his opinion against same-sex marriage in America, in the United States of America, because they are determined that you will not be against same-sex marriage. They say that's homophobic. I mean, they don't say it's biblical, because in fact, the people that say that hate the Bible because they know that the Bible is against homosexuality. So they hate the Bible. People who promote same-sex marriage are in fact throwing the Bible under the bus because the Bible is crystal clear in both Old and New Testaments about same-sex marriage. It talks about if a man lies with mankind as with womankind, it is an abomination. And in the Old Testament, the penalty for doing that was death. Of course, the penalty for adultery was also death. The penalty for many things was death. In the New Testament, the Bible also disapproves of homosexuality in no uncertain terms. However, the penalty there is not death, but the penalty is eternal damnation if you don't repent and change your ways. Okay, well, anyway, we're talking about the New World Order. We're talking about hate crimes and how they hope to shape the new global man so that we can actually move into an era of global governance. You're participating in it right now, whether you realize it or not. The term is called globalization. You know, we got to be really careful lest we be swept along with fads and we don't even know what they're mean or where they're leading us. But the term globalization, what does that mean? That's simply the process of moving from the nation-state structure of world governance to the global one world government structure of world government. The theory is if we can get rid of all the nations and only have one global nation, Actually, Strobe Talbot in 1992, July 20th, wrote for Time magazine, The Birth of the Global Nation. So this term New World Order that Henry Kissinger says, he really was saying, due to the level of his acceptance, Barack Obama has the chance of establishing a one world government. Really? Is anybody hearing me? That's what Henry Kissinger was saying. Now, Henry Kissinger is nobody's fool. He knew exactly what he was saying. He understands fully that New World Order is one world government because he has favored one world government for many years. He was a full-time employee of an organization that has worked tirelessly toward one world government for many years. He was an employee of that entity before he ever was called upon to become National Security Advisor to President Clinton. He was actually working under Mr. David Rockefeller, who was president of the Council on Foreign Relations. Now, that sounds like a good governmental agency, doesn't it? But it's not. The Council on Foreign Relations is not a governmental entity at all. It's a private club. However, it's a very well-connected private club. So well-connected that 50% of all cabinet members in the last 50 years have come from that private club, no matter whether the Republicans were in power or the Democrats were in power. Have you ever got the feeling you were voting for Tweedledee or Tweedledum? Now, think about this for a moment. I mean, I've got that feeling. I voted for Richard Nixon, hoping to head off socialism. And he passed more social legislation than any president in the history of the United States. I voted for George W. Bush because I thought he would roll back big government, and I thought that he would preserve our freedoms. And what does he do? He signs the Real ID Act, instituting a national ID system whereby all of us will have to have a national ID card in order to get on an airplane, in order to hold a job, in order to open a bank account, in order to enter a federal building. You say, wow, what's with that? I'll tell you what's with that. The deadline for implementation is January the 15th of 2013. But don't worry about it. That's 11 months away. Well, New World Order. He has a real chance for the establishment of a one world government, said Mr. Henry Kissinger.